Welcome to Grow with Biology. Today we'll discuss the topic of somatic embryogenesis. It is one topic which comes under plant tissue culture. Now when we talk about somatic embryogenesis, somatic means we are talking about the somatic cells, and formation or regeneration of embryo is embryogenesis. So somatic cells converting to an embryo is somatic embryogenesis. Now when we talk about the stages or the development of an embryo, there are three main stages. First is globular, second is heart shape, and third is torpedo. In the diagram it is easily visible that there is initially it was a globular shape or a lump of mass, and then it converts to a heart shaped structure, and the last J, K and L, this represents the torpedo shape. Now these are the examples of the plants which are grown by somatic embryogenesis: dicotyledons and monocotyledons. Dicotyledons examples are grapevine, cacao, solanum, magnifera, ipomoea, glycine, apivium, brassica, atropa, citrus, coffea, digitalis and panax. In monocotyledons, it includes allium, asparagus, iris, bambusa, oryza, panicum, zea, albius, pinus, larix, pia, cocos and freesia, and many more are there. I have just included some. If you want to remember, grapevine is grapes, that is dicotyledon. Coffee is a dicotyledonous. Monocots includes zea mays and cocos. These are some of the examples of monocots and dicots which are grown through somatic embryogenesis. Now embryogenesis has one important one, that is embryogenic cell. Now what is this type of cell? Now these cells are small, isodiametric in shape, filled with dense cytoplasm and have conspicuous nucleus. So this is the characteristic property of an embryonic cell. Now how will you differentiate between an embryonic and a non-embryonic cells? Non-embryonic cells are relatively large, they are vacuolated and has less cytoplasm. Now another property is a repetitive or cyclic embryogenesis. Now what is this? When we talk about repetitive or cyclic, this is found in Atropa belladonna, carrot, ranunculus and Pennisetum purpureum. Now when somatic embryos then in the early stage of development are transferred to induction medium, they give rise to a secondary somatic embryo. A somatic embryo, it has been transferred to an induction medium and it give rise to another secondary somatic embryo. So one somatic embryo giving rise to another somatic embryo. It is not differentiating for the growth of the plants, but it is again diverted due to the presence of induction medium to generate secondary somatic embryos. One somatic embryo giving to second somatic embryo. This is known as repetitive or cyclic embryogenesis. Now it has two steps. Stage 1 is induction of embryogenesis and stage 2 is development of embryo. Now steps involved, it has induction, there is early growth, embryo maturation and finally germination. Now there are two types. One is direct embryogenesis, another is indirect embryogenesis. Now in direct embryogenesis, it is focused to the juvenile explants, that means they are focused to hypocotyledons, cotyledons, young immature embryos. It is the immature embryos which give rise to embryo. Finally after direct embryogenesis, it give rise to an embryo. The cells which are involved are known as PEDCs, pre-embryogenic determined cells, means they are determined to form embryo, so they are known as pre-embryogenic determined cell. Another way is indirect embryogenesis. We form a callus and then it forms embryo. In direct embryogenesis, the explant will form direct embryo. In indirect, there is an intermediate step of callus formation, and then it is diverted to form embryo. Here the cells are known as IEDC, induced embryogenic determined cells. Now the development is similar to the zygotic embryo, and the cell differentiation is for the formation of the vascular tissues. Now these are the examples of the plants which are grown by somatic embryogenesis: dicotyledons and monocotyledons. Dicotyledons examples are grapevine, cacao, solanum, magnifera, ipomoea, glycine, epivium, brassica, atropa, citrus, coffea, digitalis and panax. In monocotyledons, it includes allium, asparagus, iris, bambusa, oryza, panicum, zea, albius, pinus, larix, pia, cocos and freesia, and many more are there. I have just included some. If you want to remember, grapevine is grapes, that is dicotyledon. Coffee is a dicotyledonous. Monocots includes zea mays and cocos. These are some of the examples of monocots. Next we move to the advantages. What are the advantages of this method? It helps in rapid multiplication because we are doing it in lab. So at a single time we can generate 100 to thousands of cultures in a laboratory. So it is a rapid multiplication step where we get the results within very less time and we can develop it to a mature plants. Now each explant will have a bipolar structure. So in the same unit there is a root form and there is shoot form, as it has a bipolar structure. They grow to an individual plants and the dormancy can be induced. Now if suppose we have started the inoculum and then after sometimes we want it to convert it to a dormancy, then we can, as we are growing it in a laboratory condition, we can induce dormancy, and it can easily be encapsulated. Then we can easily use it for molecular and biochemical analysis because we have all it is present in the laboratory conditions, and it shortens the breeding rate of the deciduous trees. So these are about the somatic embryogenesis. If you have any queries, you can write it in the comment section, and you can join the group of Grow with Biology for updated images regarding to all topics which we have in the Grow with Biology channels. Thank you.